Hi everyone, it's me, Nessa, and I'm back with another 50 days of wildflowers, this time going from day 50 to day 100. We're gonna start right where we left off from the last video, so if you haven't seen day 1 to 50 yet, I do recommend checking it out so you're on the same speed. I'll have it on the end screen and in the description for you. Just a reminder that this is my first time playing wildflowers, so I don't really have a goal beyond upgrading my farm, getting some cute ranch animals, building relationships, and continuing the story to see where it goes. With that in mind, let's jump back into it. Since Parker isn't done with the expanded field on day 51, I decide that I should focus on moving around what I have so far. I go and get silkworms and a mulberry tree from Kai. While I'm there, I also pick up an apple tree because I thought it would be nice to have some apple pie. I build the silkworm box, which I'm keeping in my shed. I feel like there should be a better place for it except a shed, but I guess you don't want them to be just outside where predators can get to them. I plant the mulberry and apple tree and they should be ready in 15 days. It's quite a long time, but I'm sure that'll pass by really fast. I spend the rest of the day mining and fishing. On day 52, the field has expanded. I tend to my smaller garden and gather the honey that's finished. I go to distill the honey mint cooler in my basement, and it'll take 2 days before it'll be done, so I leave it alone. I create 6 more garden plots for the new field, and I go to Thomas's farm to get cotton right away. I plant them and then head off to town to check on what different stores I can unlock. I see that Bruno's fish stall will unlock squid if I just sell more fish, so I do that. Now I can definitely make ink without needing to run around the beach and try to find squid. After doing that, I went over to Lena's store and bought some flour. I figured that I should make some food to give to the townsfolk since I've been trying to give something to Wesley for the past 2 days, but there's nothing I can actually give him in my inventory. Afterwards, I spend the day fishing and notice that the rain is super hard today, a little bit more than usual. It seems like it's storming. Seeing how it might be a bad idea to maybe keep fishing at the beach in a storm, I go and mine for the rest of the day. On day 53, I decide that I wanted to revitalize the chicken coop. I had made a few fish fingers earlier, so I wanted to see how much they would sell for at Sophia's Diner. They gave me a pretty good investment actually, so I had enough money to commission that chicken coop from Parker. I did a little bit of tree chopping and then headed over to his garage. He asked me to clear the area around the coop, so I went back home to do that. I had to create some drinks to revitalize my stamina to finish in time. Since I wasn't able to finish the expanded field due to Parker closing before then, I really wanted to make sure that that was not going to happen again. Luckily, I finished in time and Parker told me that he would work on the chicken coop in the next couple of days. I can't wait to start raising chickens. The chicken coop is in the works on day 54. Parker set up his stuff outside and he's busy working on it. My cotton has grown, so I harvest them, and the honey mint cooler is also done, so I grabbed that. I saved some cotton, but I make some cloth, and then head into town to give Amira her cotton and Violet the cloth that she wanted. Violet is super happy and tells me to come back tomorrow because she has a surprise. I spend the day talking to different townsfolk and meet with Bruno at the beach. He tells me about his late wife Helena and how Fairhaven doesn't seem like his home anymore. I convince him that he's wrong and that his fishing shack is an institution on the island. He thanks me and says he's glad I'm here. We become casual friends through this interaction. I spend the rest of the day mining. On day 55, the chicken coop is completed, but it's Saturday, so I'm not able to buy any chickens from Marty since he's closed. I do go into town to see Violet's new boutique, and it's really cute. She gives me some yellow overalls in appreciation of my hard work and tells me that she can sell me designs. She can't sell me actual clothes yet, but she can give me the blueprint for a sewing machine and a tanning station. Both of those need iron ores, so I go in and mine enough ores to make the sewing machine first. The outfits that I want to make need silk cloth, so I have to put the stream on the bottom of my to-do list for now, since I'm waiting for my mulberry trees to grow. While talking to the residents, Finn tells me that he thinks I disappeared during the summer festival. I'm not sure how he knows, but I play it cool and I tell him I didn't go anywhere at all. I remember my honey mint coolers now to figure out who I need to give it to. I'm not 100% sure, and I know that I'll have to make another one if I'm wrong. I rush over to Marty's ranch and get some chicks on day 56, and I thought I was recording, but I wasn't because I guess I was just too excited. Here is footage of day 57, which generally what I'm talking about. When Tara buys chicks from Marty, she says their names and you get to select out of 3 options, so that's really cute. Since I used all my money to buy chicks, I am of course broke again. When Marty gives me the blueprints to make a barn, I fish a little, chop some wood in preparation for the barn. I talked to some of the residents, but I'm not really sure who the adept is right now, and I don't want to make another honey mint cooler since it takes a really valuable resource. So I decide to go to the coven at night and stare at the adept to see if I can get any clues to who they might be. Of course, I am excluding anyone from the Consciousness Center because they definitely do not believe in witches. I just have to narrow down my suspects from the people who are left. At first, I think that they could be Francis since their mask has a diamond-like shape on the forehead. However, the more I stare at the adept, I'm thinking that it might be Amira since the adept likes to shake their head while talking, and the cadence seems like Amira's. So I think I'm gonna confront her tomorrow and see if I'm right. If she isn't, then I'm gonna go cry and make another cooler and see if it's Francis. On day 57, I water my crops and tend to my chick. I head into town to get some more flour from Lena's grocery store, and Thomas is talking to her. I tell Thomas that Sophia's interested in him, and he thinks about it. We become good friends from the chat, and he heads over to Sophia's diner. I go to see if Amira's at her clinic, but remember that it's closed, so I head over to the forest where she usually hangs out. Sadly, she's not there either, so I guess I'll have to catch her tomorrow. I go to Parker's garage to see how many materials I need for the barn, and wow, it seems like it's gonna be a lot of iron involved, so I head over to the mines and use the rest of my day to gather iron. So today I am very determined to go and find out who the adept witch is on day 58. Luckily, I happened to stop by Sophia's diner because I was curious whether Thomas would show up there. Francis is there, and upon talking to him, I'm actually less convinced that he's the adept because he seemed very freaked out that Shelby knew his sister's name. This makes me more confident that it could be Amira, so I head over to her clinic and give her the honey mint cooler. She asked me what is it, and my heart just sinks thinking that I'll have to make another one, but she was just joking, it is her. I was so relieved and stressed out about who it might be. After that, I go and buy more flour and bait so that I can fish. Turns out that fish fingers are pretty profitable, so they've been a great way to make money while I wait for my cotton to grow. During the evening, I go to the coven and tend to the wellspring by feeding it peanuts like always. I talk to the journeyman who tells me that I need to make a levitating potion in order to reveal his identity. I'm so stoked for this and can't wait to use my broom to travel. Tara acts surprised that witches can fly like she hasn't seen the Farseer come to the coven on a broom. Girl is oblivious to everything. I don't think the journeyman and the acolyte's identities are going to be too hard to figure out. I heard the acolyte said girl in a tone that I think it's Violet. Also, the journeyman is totally Damon because of his mask color and speech. Definitely not as hard to figure out like the adept, I think. I run home to try and make the levitation potion, but I need essence of copper. So once again, I'm gonna have to go into the mines. However, it's pretty late, so I'm just gonna have to go tomorrow. Marty shows up at my house on day 59 to tell me that he forgot to feed his cow and it got sick. Oh my goodness, Marty is the worst rancher ever, and I feel really sorry for all of his animals. Tara had a good idea to talk to Ariel in the Ravenwood Hollow to see if he can help. I did not think about that because I did not know Ariel did anything with animals. I guess I should have talked to him before that. But anyways, I head over there to explore the shops and talk to Ariel. He gives me some of his hair to brew a potion that can help the cow, and I rush back to do just that because I don't want to wait on it. I also go and mine for some copper so that I can make some essence of copper. I go into town and talk to the villagers a bit before mining again. I'm able to complete the levitating potion, so I'm excited to give it to the journeyman tomorrow. On day 60, my chicks are now fully fledged chickens. They are so cute, and I love the colors are varied. It's raining, so they're hanging out in their little chicken coop. I like that the animals go in and out of their houses without me needing to facilitate that every day. I go mine a bit until it gets closer to evening, then head over to Damon's bar. Kai's looking to buy me a drink, but I fumble big time and ask him for Hawaiian pizza, apparently. I just thought I was asking for pizza, not actually Hawaiian pizza. He's pretty disgusted by this since he doesn't think pineapple should belong on pizza, and he storms out. Damon tells me that he actually likes me, and Kai and I become good friends after that awkward encounter. After Kai storms off, I give Damon the levitating potion and confirm that he is indeed the journeyman who I was looking for. I head over to the coven and start thinking about how Damon could be at two places at once. I mean, he's literally at his bar at night and also just hanging out at the coven. While still contemplating this, I complete his quest and head over to talk to the acolyte, who I'm 100% sure it's Violet. She has a whole flower on her mask and her tone of speech is just perfectly violet. She wants me to make a charm potion, so I head home and start brewing. It should be ready by tomorrow. On day 61, I chop down some trees and go fishing for a bit after talking to Parker about what I need to fix the barn. I have enough iron bars now, but not enough money or wood. I also rearrange my garden plots and plant some more cotton and strawberries. I find Violet and give her the charm potion, and she reveals herself as the acolyte. Back at the coven, I ask Damon about how he's able to be at the bar and the coven at the same time. He says that he uses a broom. It doesn't really answer my question, but he doesn't want to continue talking about it. The High Priestess gives me a quest to make a speed time incantation. Back at home, I noticed that I had mail and read it. Vanessa wrote inviting me to a grief support group, and I think that's kind of cute that she's running it, so I decide to bring some berry smoothies. I don't have the ingredients yet. I'm still waiting on my strawberries to grow, and it's going to be about 6 days before I can make any smoothies, but at least I was able to start the process. On day 62, I spend most of my time mining to get topaz so I can make the speed up incantation. It takes me all day, but I eventually find one. I'll have to wait until tomorrow to give it to Lena because there's no doubt in my mind that she is the High Priestess. I talked to some of the villagers today and chop wood to prep the area around the barn. I should be able to commission it from Parker on Monday because he's closed over the weekend. I chop more wood and break stones around the barn on day 63. I am so ready for this barn to be built tomorrow. I go and sell some of my fish fingers to Sophia at her restaurant and then head over to the forest where I find Amira. We talk a bit about her escaping to the woods to do some self-care and find some respite away from her clients. All this talking makes us casual friends. After that, I give Lena the speed up incantation successfully. At night, the High Priestess tells Violet and me that we need to infiltrate the consciousness center to get some intel. Wow, that escalated so fast. She tells us to go to Ariel to learn how to shapeshift. Apparently, shapeshifting in this game involves going into the consciousness of other animals and not necessarily changing your form. I learned my cat's name is Cleocatra, which is super cute, and she gives me permission to use her corporeal form to carry on my stealth mission. Violet and I go into the Consciousness Center to find Cameron's notes, and we escape in the nick of time back to the Coven before the spell runs out. Tomorrow we're going to hold a meeting with the Coven to talk about the notes since it's getting late. Day 64 starts with Thomas coming to my house to complain about a drought. He asked me to talk to other residents to see if they're affected. I go down to visit Marty's farm and overhear a very suspicious conversation about development plans with Marty and Otto. They change the subject when I get closer and it's super awkward, but there's no use pursuing it. I buy some more chicken feed and some hay in preparation for the new barn. Other villagers are very affected by the drought and paying premium prices for water from milk water. Giva tells me that the drought is super strange since it's only affecting the island and not the surrounding places. This is super suspicious to me, and I'm wondering if there's a witch who put a curse on the island or something to drive the resident coven out. I commissioned the barn from Parker finally, and he states that it should be done in a few days. I chop some trees and promptly forget that I should be meeting with the coven regarding what we found, so I go to sleep, and I guess I'll do that tomorrow. On day 65, Parker is diligently working on restoring the old barn while I run around chopping trees and trying to find other residents that I might have missed talking about the drought. I find Violet and talk to her about it, but can't seem to find the last person. At night, the High Priestess checks Cameron's journal that we stole while in cat form, and she noticed that he's keeping a list of potential malcontents, but there are no names on it. She gives us permission to make shape-shifting incantations, so I can't wait to try being a cat one of these days. Not too much happens. On day 66, I harvest my cotton before admiring my completed barn. There's still mice living in it, but it looks pretty good. I head over to Marty's ranch to see how much a cow is. Holy, they are pretty pricey at 1,500 gold, so I'll have to save up some money. I spend the rest of the day fishing and trying to figure out who the last person I need to talk to regarding the drought is. However, I still don't know by the time the day is over. I'm way busier on day 67 when my strawberries are done. I'm preparing all these smoothies and selling my fish fingers to Sophia's Diner. I try to sell the extra smoothies that I have, but they barely sell for anything. So I guess I'm gonna have 20 smoothies in my inventory for a while. I stop by the Consciousness Center at night to attend Vanessa's grief support group. Violet and I have a talk afterwards, and she's determined to go find her mother now. She flies away right outside of the Consciousness Center, and I'm thinking about how these witches were never caught yet when they pull stunt like this. It did remind me that I have a broom though, so I should try to use my levitating potion on it tomorrow. After the grief session, I head to the coven to tell the high priestess about the drought, and she gives me the task to create a summon rain incantation. Luckily, I have most of the ingredients for this. I'm just missing essence of silver, so I start distilling that and call it a night. On day 68, I'm able to craft the Summon Rain incantation after my Essence of Silver is completed. I harvest all of my cotton and go into town to get some tomato seeds. I plant the new seeds and fish for a bit until evening comes, where I give the incantation to the High Priestess. She tells me to cast it, so I get this really cool cutscene of Terra casting a spell and rain clouds forming. The High Priestess gives me the spell recipe to turn the season to fall and unlocks the mine deeper so that I can get ruby from the bottom of the mine to craft the spell. As I'm heading home, the acolyte Violet pulls me over and asks me to do a heist with her, since she was motivated by Vanessa's grief support group to find her mother. She gives me the recipe for lockpicking incantations, so I go home and make those. Guess I'm gonna be doing another heist, but this time not in cat body. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. I spent all of my day in the mines on day 69 to try to go as deep as I can. I managed to get through 3 floors before the day is over. Still no ruby. I'll be back in the mines tomorrow too. On day 70, I'm back down in the mine and I get to a floor where there are sparkling gems, but unfortunately you cannot harvest directly from them, so I have to keep breaking the smaller rocks and finding rubies the hard way. I actually was able to find one so I can make the change season incantation. Now all I need is a marigold, which I think I'm gonna have to grow. Violet's shop is closed Sundays and Mondays, so I won't be able to get to it anytime soon, unfortunately. However, I'm able to tell Violet that I have her lockpick incantations, and she asked me to meet her at Town Hall at night. We break in and set off an alarm when we try to steal the precious artifact. Back at the coven, Violet is determined to go to the gloaming alone. This is really dangerous because the High Priestess told us that the gloaming is where the Fae folk come from and where the magic from the wellspring is the most strong. Lena comes and stops her and promises that the coven will discuss the matter the next time that we meet. Before the coven can meet, Mayor Otto calls for a town meeting on day 71 to talk about the break-in at Town Hall and the Consciousness Center. He is changing the cultural committee to a neighborhood watch. A lot of the townsfolk are not happy about this, but Otto ends the meeting before anyone else can object. The drought has dried up all of the water wells and everyone is freaking out a little bit. I go around town talking to residents and they're not doing very well. I really need Marigold to start turning the season, but Violet's shop is still closed today, so I'll have to wait another day. Since I'm not able to really do anything about the drought, I go to Parker to see if I can upgrade anything on my farm. I need more compost to create a hay field, but at least I'm able to expand my tool shed a little bit. At night, the coven meet to talk about the break-in, and the High Priestess agrees that the coven has been too cautious about the gloaming. No one is getting kicked out of the coven since everyone is needed to keep the wellspring in balance and also to turn the season. I guess there's more to come on what we're gonna do about the gloaming, but other than that, she sends me home. On day 72, Parker is working on expanding my tool shed. I head straight over to Violet's shop to get marigolds and instantly plant them. I also decided that I should get some more tomato seeds and head over to Lena's store. She tells me that she has water from Milk Water, but it's at a marked up price. I find Wesley over at Kim's butcher shop. He really likes to hang around there on his free days, so it's a shame that I can't give him any raw meat because I think he would probably enjoy that. I give him fish stew that I made earlier and head to the beach managed to fish until about midnight. While walking back home, I realized that I never planted my tomato seeds. Oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to save them for next year since I don't want to plant them a day later than the marigolds. Parker is done with the shed on day 73 and it looks amazing. The inside is super spacious and I'm able to add a dye bath in addition to a few other things now. I start making dyed clothes and leather for a new dress. I chop some trees and fish. In town, Vanessa tells me that she sees me going to the woods late at night, but she doesn't tell Otto, so I'm actually changing my mind about her quite a bit now since she hasn't said anything to her husband. Emmy mentioned that she was talking to a bookseller to get children books for the school year, so I think she's just being vilified unjustly at this time. I mean, whether or not she may do a 180 and surprise me later is yet to be seen, but for now, I guess she's okay. I give Giva the silk that she requested and she invites me to watch her weather balloon take flight. It's super cool, but I don't know what this means later for her research. The coven is definitely going to freak out if she sends these weather balloons into the forest. I still don't have enough compost to create the hay field, so I collect some weeds and make compost. I think I'm gonna need a few more days on that, so maybe it's just time to get a cow first. I don't have footage of day 74 since I just fished all day, waiting for my marigolds to grow. On day 75, I head over to Sophia's diner where Damon tells me that he needs paper since he's writing a letter to his mom. I give him some and he says that he's writing about a special someone. After a conversation, Damon and I are now intimate friends. Do you think that the special friend he's writing about might be me? I'll have to see because I have been seeing him around more often, but you never know. Anyways, I head over to Ravenwood Hollow to talk to the Fae folk because I really don't visit nearly as much as I should, and I really want to get to know Wesley more. I get some backstory of why Ariel has backward feet, since he says it confuses the hunters while he's saving animals, and I can see why that would be useful in that situation. After talking to everyone, I go mining for gold ores the rest of the day because I remember that you can update your pickaxe and axe to gold quality. On day 76, I harvest my marigolds and make the change season incantation. I fish the rest of the day, and during the night, I go to the coven to participate in the ritual. I can't believe that it's autumn already. I felt like summer was going on forever, and I wasn't really a big fan because I was running out of water to fill my watering can. I wonder if the drought is still going to happen in autumn. We're just gonna have to wait and see. The Farseer has a vision of a bad thing coming, and the High Priestess tells everyone to go rest because we're gonna need our strength in the time to come. I'm not sure whether this is gonna result in an epic witch battle, but if so, I am so prepared for it. After changing the season, I get an incantation to permanently increase my magic. I use it and head home. I forgot to harvest my sunflowers, so I do that before heading to bed because I think they're going to probably wilt in the autumn. I had quite the busy day on day 77, the first day of autumn. Violet comes to the farm bright and early to tell me that Marty Emerson is running against Mayor Otto in the upcoming election. I can't believe that I'm gonna be able to witness local politics in action. In other news, Francis and Angus are going to get married and they're inviting me to their wedding, but they don't have a date yet. I asked the townsfolk who they're voting for, and the majority seem to be leaning towards Marty right now. Not really surprising since Otto's neighborhood watch isn't that popular among the people. Since today is Sunday and town hall is closed, I can't talk to Otto to see what he thinks about having competition. I do talk to Marty, and he seems to just want to propel Fairhaven forward into the future. I have no idea what that means or what his plans for the island is, but change is good, right? I'm not really sure, actually. I buy 2 cows and 2 sheep from him. All of my new animals are so adorable, and I go to give them lots of love right away. Lena's store is closed, so I really can't do anything about crops right now. At night, I head over to the coven where the High Priestess is directing Amira, Violet, and I to go into the gloaming to find hedgehog grass flowers. Apparently, the barrier between worlds is thin right now, and the coven needs to cast glamour on the seeing stones so that ordinary folks can't see them. However, for the coven members to be able to see the seeing stones, we need to make glamour naturalization potion and drink it. So we three get into the gloaming, and I have to use my magic to destroy barriers and zap vines while finding the flowers. After we gather them, Violet notices an echo flower, and when she drops it, the echo flower reveals her mom, Gloria, was there on the day she disappeared. Violet wants to continue exploring the gloaming to find her mom, but Amira tells us to go back first. The High Priestess is elated about the news, and she tasked me with brewing the glamour neutralization potion. Journeyman Damon asked me to help him make a pranking pumpkin pie to feed to Otto during the debate, and I think it's a funny idea, so I tell him I'll help out. I head home and make more distilleries since I need to distill 6 of the hedgehog grass flowers, and it's gonna take forever with just 1. I also need to make more cauldrons, but I don't have enough iron ores, so I use the rest of the night to mine a little bit before I go to sleep. On day 78, it's raining, which makes me remember that I need to go get some seeds. So, do I go get seeds today? You bet that I totally forgot about it and I didn't get any. Instead, I tend to my animals and run over to Parker's garage since I have enough compost to make the hay field. However, I need to clear out the field, so I end up not being able to make it today. Tale as old as time, I know. It did make me realize that I didn't even upgrade my axe to silver yet, but I think I'm gonna skip that upgrade and go straight to gold. Since I've been using it for this long, what's a little bit longer, right? I talked to Vanessa and Otto about the election, and I'm kind of impressed that they don't even break a sweat. They asked me to vote for Otto, of course, but overall, they don't say anything negative about Marty, which is nice. I mined some iron and managed to make 2 more cauldrons, so now I have 3 distilleries and 3 cauldrons going for the glamour naturalization potion. On day 79, I go to visit Thomas to see what he has to sell. He only has soybeans, so I decide not to buy anything since I know that Lena's gonna have a variety of different crops. I talked to Marty to buy more chicken feed and hay since I was running low before heading into town. At Lena's store, I buy a bunch of different seeds and I run home to plant everything in my fields. I also was able to commission the hay field from Parker, so that should be done in a few days. After that, I mined a little bit for gold. My glamour naturalization potions are finished, but it's almost 1 a.m. by the time that I check on them, so I guess I'll have to go to the coven tomorrow. On day 80, I use a summon rain incantation so I don't have to water my crops. It's actually really great, and I need to keep a stock of these in my inventory for whenever I don't feel like watering for the day. Parker is sadly out there working in the rain, and you know, besides that, it looks really good so far. I can't wait to see it tomorrow. I go into the mines to try to get more gold until it's time to go to the coven. I give the High Priestess the potions, and she tells me to hand them out to the different members of the coven. Once everyone has their potions and drinks it, the Farseer casts a spell to glamour the stones so no one outside of the coven will see it. I talk to the High Priestess again after the ritual, and she says that she wishes she were present in the gloaming when we saw Gloria, because Gloria was not only a great witch, but also her friend. I head home for the night, excited for what the hayfield is gonna look like. Spoiler alert, it looks awesome. The hayfield is finished on day 81. I kind of wish I didn't go and replenish my hay stock on day 79 since the option to feed animals are entirely gone now. So I just have the options to pet my animals, but I still do have to feed my chickens and pet them. I hope there's an auto feeder for the chickens in the future because even though I don't mind feeding them, I do spend a lot of time with the animals in the morning, and I can't imagine having 6 chickens since I only have 3 right now. I spent a lot of time mining today, and I think I probably have enough to upgrade my pickaxe or axe. The only issue is that today is Thursday and Natalia's hanging around the mine instead of being in her forge. So instead, I go to Ravenwood Hollow to give Wesley a beef Wellington dish and some chicken feathers to Ariel. On day 82, I help Natalia with some wood since she needs to make charcoal while she waits for her coal shipment. After giving her some of my wood, she and I become best friends. Everyone is in a needy mood today though, since I go next door and Francis is asking me to get a pearl so he can make cufflinks for Angus for their wedding. I have a pearl on me and I give it to him, so he's very appreciative and gives me a little extra for the pearl. I sell my ores to Natalia and Francis so I can afford the gold pickaxe since it costs us 3,000 gold. After that, I go into the mines to test it, and oh my goodness, it is so wonderful. I can just mine everything in one hit, and it didn't expend all my energy until like 11 p.m. So I would say it was a very good investment. I am most likely going to be in the mines a lot because I also want to upgrade my axe. I reached floor 20 of the mines on day 83, and there is a huge waterfall here. I also managed to mine diamond. After spending most of my day in the mines, I go home to see that my yellow dye cloth is complete. I make a new dress, and it's so cute. I wear it right away since I can't finish my other dresses until I get more tulips in the spring. On day 84, my pumpkins are done, I plant grapes in their place, and I check out the southern field where my lettuce is also done. I have enough to replace 3 plots with fennel, but I don't have any more seeds, and the grocery store is closed today when I went into town to check. On my way back, I see Juliet near her mother's diner. She's freaking out because she can't find her sheet music, and she was going to play for Francis and Angus at their wedding. She thinks that Finn or Emmy might have seen it, so I go and investigate. I see Finn as he's walking back from Marty's ranch, and he spills the bean on the music sheets right away. I just have to go find Emmy now, but I haven't seen her all day. I start day 85 by milking my cow and shearing my sheep because they are fully grown. Afterwards, I go straight to school to confront Emmy about Juliet's music sheet. She's not giving anything up, so I'm gonna need the Coven's help in this. I head over to Lena's and I get more grape and pumpkin seeds. I also try to get cinnamon and sugar so I can make the pumpkin pie, but she doesn't sell cinnamon. I think Kai does, but his shop is closed, so I'll have to check again another day. I head home to plant my seeds and head over to Ravenwood Hollow to see Wesley. He welcomes me into his rare bookstore. We become new acquaintances, and then he asks me to get him mulberries. I give the mulberries that I have to him and questions why he needs it. He reluctantly tells me that he's trying to find a cure to lycanthropy, and he heard that an incantation written in ink made from mulberry might help. I'm not sure whether he'll be successful, but I support his dreams of wanting to find a cure if that's what he wants. After that, I promptly forget that I was supposed to ask the Coven for some way to get Emmy to give back Juliet's sheet music, so I spend the rest of the night mining for more gold ores. I'll have to remember tomorrow for sure. Day 86 is a very busy day. It's raining and storming, so it's kind of cool to see the sky turn dark during the daytime. I make some fish fingers to sell at Sophia's diner and then head to town. At Natalia's forge, Francis is telling me about how he's a warrior and I validate his feelings. We become good friends after that. I turn all my hard-earned ores into ingots and sell them back to Natalia. I'll have to wait to sell silver to Francis since he's not working today, as evidenced by him being at the forge. I take a look at the bulletin board and decide to fulfill some requests, one of them being giving silver ingots to Francis. I head down towards Kai's stalls to get some cinnamon for the pumpkin pie before heading back home to make paper and silk. Otto had previously asked me to get him some silk so he can make a celebration banner. I head to town hall to give him the banner, and he doesn't even invite me to the celebration party. It's so rude. That's why I'm not voting for you, Otto. You're being so fake. I head over to Violet's shop and sell my flowers there, and then go to the Consciousness Center where I learn a bit more about Messenger Cameron, or at least he's telling me about himself while I stare at his eyelids because there's something off about it. I can't put my finger on it. Every time he closes his eyes, it's kind of unsettling to me. I do catch that he used to party a lot in Hollywood and then woke up near the Consciousness Center, so he changed his life around. I deliver the paper to him before heading back home to make the pranking pumpkin pie potion. That is quite a mouthful to say. That was a full day, and night came pretty fast. I head over to the Coven to ask the journeyman about the seeking spell for Juliet's sheet music, but first get interrupted by the High Priestess wanting Violet and me to go back into the gloaming so that we can plant anemone seeds, since the Coven members are worn thin, keeping up the glamour and tending to the wellspring. The High Priestess gives me a spirit flame lantern, and I think it's a good idea to craft more spirit flames before we go into the gloaming, just in case. After that, I talk to the journeyman about the sheet music, and he gives me the blueprints for a scrying bowl. He teaches me how to make the potion to use in the bowl, and it needs both essence of copper and silver, both ores that I just converted into ingots. So back into the mines I go for the rest of the night to try to get enough ores. My pranking pumpkin pie incantation is finished on day 87, but it's too late. The debate is already starting, so Damon comes and grabs me in the morning, and we head over to town hall to see the disaster that unfolds. Messenger Cameron is moderating and asks what Otto is going to do if he gets reelected. I don't really know if he won any favors by stating that he would implement a 10 p.m. curfew if he's reelected. Damon is rightfully upset at this because he states that Otto will ruin his business. Otto seems to have a personal reason for why he's targeting Damon's bar, namely that his father used to go drinking at night and wouldn't come home while Otto was waiting for him. Man, I feel like Bruno is the real villain in the story for neglecting Otto and having him turn out the way he is. Cameron then asks Marty why he thinks he would know more than the incumbent, and Marty turns it back on him and states that Cameron is also new but moderating a debate. Touche, Marty, you're right about that. He doesn't talk about any policies and tells me to check his socials if I want to know what his platform is, but I don't have a phone, and for some reason I feel like being uninformed is gonna bite me if I vote for him. Thomas also tells me not to trust him. The witches at the coven, however, are leery of Otto because having a curfew will not only affect Damon's bar, but will affect their ability to get to the coven at night. I'm not really sure who to vote for because on one hand, I feel like Otto's curfew is gonna hurt, but then on the other hand, I don't know what Marty's position is at all, and I don't 100% trust him since he's been very suspicious since he moved to the island. But then again, Otto has also been suspicious and he has been mayor, so I ponder who I'm gonna vote for as I go to Ravenwood Hollow and visit Ariel. Wesley isn't home, so I couldn't talk to him today. I spend the rest of the night mining and call it a night. On day 88, it's raining again, so it's nice not to water any of my crops. I give paper to Marty since he needed it for his flyers. On my way to the woods, I run into Lena, who's waiting for her kids to come out of school. She talks about how the town hasn't always been so quiet and young people have the tendency to want to shake things up, so she's excited to see what I'm gonna do. We become casual friends after that conversation, but she still hasn't invited me to her book club yet. I head on home to brew some Spirit Flame and mine the rest of the day. I've noticed that I do a lot of mining in this game, but right now at least it's because I want that golden axe. On day 89, my scrying potion is complete, so I use it and then follow the glowing light to Emmy and Finn's house. In the bushes are Juliet's sheet music. Emmy comes out and I ask her why she has it. She says that she just wants to learn how to read music, and I tell her that there's a better way to do that than stealing the sheet music. She agrees to give it back to Juliet, and I think that's a win. I also stopped by Francis's shop and Amira's there. He's admiring her necklace, which she got from her ex. She asks me if that's weird, but I don't really think it is, and it's such a beautiful piece. After that, I rushed to Natalia's forge right away and realized my dream of having a golden axe. I can chop trees so much faster and it's going to be so helpful. I cast a summon rain spell since I wasn't in the mood to water my crops. I love this spell so much, but that was my last one, so I need to start making more of them. I go to Ravenwood Hollow and get a scene with Zephyr talking about flying on Grandma's old broom. I was waiting for this since forever, and I wasn't sure how to use the levitating potion on Grandma's broom at all. Now all I need is essence of silver. Luckily, I've been mining a lot the other days, so I go home to distill it. While I'm at home, I make 2 more fermenter barrels to brew my wine in. At night, I go over to the coven and let Violet know that I'm ready for the gloaming. We go in and plant the anemone without any issues. I didn't even need the extra spirit flame at all, so I could have done this way earlier. Everything seems to be going great until a dark shadow goes towards the portal. Apparently, a very powerful wraith escaped, and now I need to wait for it to reveal itself. I'm wondering if it's gonna be a person or possess someone in town. I'm kind of excited to see how this is gonna turn out. I give Zephyr the ingredients on day 90 so she can work on my broom. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'm super excited to be able to ride it soon. It's only taken me 90 days to get here, but it's better than 91 days, I guess. I spend the day talking to the villagers and chopping down trees and queue up a bunch of crystal ball potions because my plan is to learn everyone's favorite food items. On day 91, my crystal ball potions are done, so I use all of them to see the rest of Messenger Cameron's favorite foods. I kind of think it would be so ironic to get to know him really well so that he's conflicted about what to do when he finds out that I'm a witch. Not saying that he would find out, but I'm living for the drama of it all if he does. Today I decide to go up to the mountain pass since I don't normally go up that way. I stop at Giva's observatory and she tells me that she's noticing strange weather patterns on the island. I try to deflect and tell her that it's probably because of global warming, but she's not buying it. I did get a muffin out of it, and Giva and I are new acquaintances now, but at what cost to the coven? This has yet to be seen. Giva seems pretty good at her job, so she's definitely gonna give the coven a headache. I talked to more villagers today, and Parker tells me that he's had it with Thomas since he knows that Thomas has a big crush on Lena. I really wanted to say that I'm helping Thomas pivot to Sophia, but that wasn't an option, so I guess Parker's just gonna have to stay mad right now. At night, I go back to Ravenwood Hollow and have a great chat with Wesley by the waterfall. The scenery is really romantic because there's a waterfall right there, but we just talk about how Wesley doesn't feel at home. He feels like he can't go back to Alaska because he's a werewolf, and he feels kind of conflicted being at Ravenwood Hollow because he's also half human. We become casual friends after this, and it's at this time that I'm thinking that I should maybe go after Wesley. I like who he is as a character, and I like his conflicted feelings about himself, which I'm sure Tara can relate to, since she also has to hide a side of herself from the villagers, that being her witch self. After having a moment with him, I head on home and fish until it's bedtime. Day 92 is election day. Giva comes to get me and we head over to town hall to cast our votes, or my vote, because I guess she's not allowed to vote yet. I decide to just throw my hat in for Marty because why not? However, it doesn't really matter because Otto ends up winning the election since two people decided to vote for Lena instead. I totally think that it's Thomas and Shelby who voted for Lena, but I'm not 100% sure. Otto keeps his mayoral seat and enacts the neighborhood watch. I'm wondering how this is going to affect the gameplay. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. At least I haven't run into it in terms of the 100 days that I've played. I talked to everyone about the election and they all have different feelings on it. I was actually surprised about Vanessa's reaction since apparently Otto didn't discuss the curfew with her and she's concerned about citizens having to uphold the peace at night. After talking to everyone about the election, I go over to the coven to water the anemone plant. They should be ready in a day, so I'm hoping that the raid reveals itself soon. I head over to Ravenwood Hollow where they're pretty peaceful there and not riled up due to human politics. I give Wesley and Zephyr some gifts before heading back and ending the day with fishing and chopping down trees. Things are really escalating out of control. On day 93, Lena tells me that there's an emergency town meeting, so we head over to town hall. And I notice that Natalia is glowing an ominous color. That is not how she usually glows, y'all. Otto tells everyone that there are witches in Fairhaven, and Cameron feels validated about the malcontents. He really likes that word, and you know, I was gonna try and be friends with him, but he's being pretty annoying right now. I'm not sure whether I want to give him a chance until this all blows over, and he apologizes about the whole malcontent thing. Natalia names Sophia as a witch, and Otto tells everyone that Sophia will have a trial in 7 days. This is pretty ridiculous, and Sophia definitely needs a good lawyer. But there aren't any here in Fairhaven, so I'm not sure if she's gonna have to represent herself. Back at the coven discusses how we can get rid of the wraith, and of course that involves me making something. I have most of the ingredients for this incantation, and also a bunch of fennel that I can grind into seed for the spell. The Farseer asked me to bring something that's important to Natalia and something that she made. I had some iron ingots on me and he takes it to see her pass. Apparently her father fell in love with someone whose mom was a babka, a type of Russian witch. The witch cursed Natalia's father when the daughter died, and that curse passed on to Natalia, which would explain why she has terrible luck and she's terrible in love. Since Sophia's trial is only 7 days away, I do need to kind of pick up the speed and be hasty to get the other items of Natalia and give it back to the Farseer as soon as possible. On day 94, I go to Ravenwood Hollow to see if my broom is ready and overhear the Fae folk talking about the trial. Perry decides that the Fae folk should not intervene with what humans are doing, and although Zephyr and Wesley object, they follow what she tells them to do. Wesley does tell me that he's willing to provide me support if I need anything, so that's really nice of him. I head over to Zephyr's shop to see if she finished the broom, and it is done. It looks totally the same, but I'm happy to be able to use it now. I go over to Natalia's forge after that to see if I can get anything personal from her, but it doesn't seem like I can just grab her hammer. I decide to try making a scrying potion to see if I can find something personal of hers laying on the ground like with Juliet. I follow the glow only for it to stop right in front of her, so that didn't seem to work. I go to the coven to see if anyone has a hint and remember that Wylde and I broke into town haul. So I fly home and it feels so wonderful to be able to get from the coven to my house in no time at all. I make some locksmith potions and some new fermenters for my wine. I then go over to Natalia's forge after stealing my nerves to see whether she left the hammer there. It would be so terrible if I broke in and there was nothing there. Just like I suspected, however, the hammer is sitting right there on the anvil. I grab it and take it back to the Farseer, who tells me the rest of Natalia's story. It seems that she went to talk to the Babka witch that cursed her father and asked for the curse to be lifted. The Babka gives her her hammer that she's using right now that is supposed to bring her luck, so that explains why she became a blacksmith. The Farseer gives me the incantation recipe and I fly home to try and make it. However, I'm running low on magical energy, so no biggie. I fly back to the coven to donate to the wellspring and then fly back to make the incantation. After it's done, I take a short flight back to the coven and give the high priestess the incantation. She tells me that the coven has to wait until the wraith exerts its power, which is certain to do so during Sophia's trial, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. On day 95, I summon rain and then spend most of the day mining since I want to stockpile some sand for more levitating potions. While coming out of the mine at night, I run into Giva, who asks for a sample at the bottom of the mine so she can send it to her geologist friend to check on the weather patterns. The quest seems to imply that the coven would not appreciate if I help Giva, so I'm not sure whether or not I should do this particular quest because alerting people outside of Fairhaven about the weather might not be such a good thing for witches. I go to town on day 96 since I haven't seen the villagers in a few days. Angus asks me for some eggs and milk so he can make marmalade pudding. He tells me to come back tomorrow so that he can give me a sample, and I can't really argue with that. I'm really looking forward to it because I love free food. Damon tells me that his mother heard about what was happening with Sophia, and his father had to stop her from coming to Fairhaven to take things into her own hands. I talk to Thomas, who rightfully is very upset that Natalia made these accusations against Sophia. I then head over to Ravenwood Hollow to give Wesley some wine. I'm trying to go at different times to see if I can trigger his event, but nothing again today. I find the geological sample in the lowest part of the mine on level 20, and then there's an option to give it to the Farseer instead of Giva. I think this is probably the more responsible option, so I fly over to the Coven to have the Farseer look at it. He peers into the past and tells me about the first witches and something that happened to the pillar, which flooded the mines. This would explain why there is a giant pool of water on level 20. The Farseer thanks me for bringing the rock sample to him instead of Giva. I fly back home to make some cloth and silk from the wool and silkworm threads that I have. I collect my levitating potions and I have a pretty good amount right now. It's not enough for me though, so of course I continue to brew more of them. I would rather have a super extreme surplus than a deficit for sure. It's already day 97 and I go to collect the levitating potions that I've been brewing at night. I decided not to use my summon rain spell today and go to water my crops when Zephyr comes over to ask what I'm doing. I tell her that I'm watering my crops and the pixie tells me that there are better and more efficient ways to water. She disappears and Thomas comes over to ask me what I'm doing. And of course I make up a lame excuse and say I'm talking to my watering can. He told me that he came over to make sure my well was replenished, but now it's super awkward, so he starts walking away. I give him some caramel popcorn to forget what he saw, and it seems to have pleased him, so that's a good thing, right? After doing my farm chores in the morning, I head over to Ravenwood Hollow. Again, I stop by Wesley's bookstore, but no event today. I head to Zephyr's workshop, and she tells me about whirligigs, which are enchanted machines to help with farm chores, such as watering and harvesting plants or chopping down trees. This sounds really cool, so I go to town to drop off blueberries for Amira, head over to Angus's bakery to pick up my marmalade pudding, and then go to Natalia's forge to convert all my ores to ingots. However, I'm missing some copper, so I'm gonna have to mine again in order to get that whirligig request fulfilled. It's already day 98. The 100 days are coming up so fast. I really wanted to complete the whirligig quest, but Natalia's forge is closed today, so it looks like I'm going to have to wait a little bit more. I go into town to talk to the villagers and meet Parker outside of Sophia's diner. He wants to make a wedding present for Francis and Angus, and I help supply the silk and turtlehead flowers. He's happy that I was carrying around some so he could get his supplies right away and start making his present. I head over to the Consciousness Center where I meet Angus. He talks about religion and the differences between Francis and his belief. He talks about feeling real acceptance at the Consciousness Center, which I totally really love for him. Even though I don't walk the same path, I'm happy that he has found somewhere to provide him that support. We become casual friends after the conversation, and I go around talking to other villagers. Kim is asking if I know what Amira's favorite cut of meat is, but she's being a little bit secretive about it, and I totally think she has a crush on her. I also talked to Thomas, who missed Ancestor Day, and he had his nieces guilt trip him into visiting them. I spend the rest of the night mining so I can make sure to have plenty of ores to turn to ingots and maybe be able to make more than one whirligig. On day 99, I head over to Ravenwood Hollow to find that Zephyr's workshop is closed. Luckily though, she's still willing to let me complete the quest and told me to come back tomorrow. Day 100 is going to be quite the busy day with Sophia's trial and me getting a whirligig. Today on the other hand is pretty calm. One might say the calm before the storm. There's not much that happens. I go to Lena's grocery store and Shelby is there talking about how Marcus is running the store. Lena has to remind him that her father is in Milkwater now, and she tells me to be kind to Shelby because he kind of lives in a different time. Shelby and I become new acquaintances after that. I figured that I should have seen this event quite a while ago before I knew he was the Farseer, but it's nice to be able to trigger these older events instead of being locked out of them. I talk to other villagers. Sebastian is in disbelief that Sophia is being named a witch since she was always nice to him and Violet. Vanessa's not sure what a witch would look like, but she doesn't think Sophia looks like one. Angus tells me that his nephew was born, so his family will not be able to make his wedding. What a convenient way for the game to not include other people. I go down to the beach to see if there's any seaweed that washed up, but there's nothing today. Luckily, I don't have to rely solely on the speed boost incantation anymore with the broom, but I still like to have both. I fish until midnight and then fly home, ready for day 100. I wake up and head over to Town Hall for Sophia's trial on day 100. It's rather short, actually. As Natalia is getting up to talk about why she knows Sophia's a witch, I cast the incantation spell, and the wraith flees from Natalia's body. She wakes up and tells everyone that she's really sorry and Sophia is not guilty and not a witch. On the way out of the trial, I talk to Damon, who decides it was a really good time to ask me on a date. I'm kind of excited though, since I don't know how the dating system works in the game, so I agree to it. I stop by Natalia's forge to see how she's feeling, and she's pretty down about the situation, just needs some time to process what's happening. I go back to my farm to do more chores and then head to Ravenwood Hollow, where Zephyr is done with a whirligig. They are little robots powered by gems, so that should give me a reason to go down to the mines every now and then to replenish their batteries. Zephyr is selling a few different types of whirligigs, which can be bought with the right amount of ingots, so I get one for my livestock as well. Back at the farm, I power on the whirligig and think about how my farm is gonna be so much easier to run now since I can focus on other things, such as mining for gems so I can power my whirligigs and wait until I get a whirligig that mines. Yay! I head over to check on Sophia after this. She's pretty upset about the situation and how it's affecting Juliet. Even though she's really upset, she's still willing to put on a romantic dinner for Damon and me. So she asks us for some mushroom and tuna. I fly over to the beach and luckily catch a tuna no problem on my first try. It's getting pretty late already though, so I'll have to give it to Sophia another time. I head home and go to sleep, thus ending my 100 days. Wow, we got a lot done by 100 days, don't you agree? From day 51 to day 100, my farm has changed so much. I now have a proper barn and chicken coop with a whole hay field. My tool shed and my garden are expanded. And I can't wait to see what else I can unlock. I've become a better novice witch, having access to more potions and incantations, and now I can even fly. I have access to the gloaming, and I don't know what's happening with Violet's mom, but I'm excited to find out. I've built my relationships up and seen a lot of events, and was even asked out on a date. I don't know how relationships work yet in this game, so I'm really excited to see what the romantic aspects are going to be like. Can I date everyone? Because I really want to know if they're different in love than just when you're friends, you know? And of course, I'm excited to see how the story plays out. There is a lot of things going on, like I mentioned, Violet's mom, Otto's neighborhood watch, and what that holds for the future of Fairhaven. There's a lot to discover, and I can't wait until the next installment. Leave me a comment on your thoughts of what Tara's been up to. What do you think's gonna happen next? And of course, if you like what I do, then consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. Thank you so much for making it to the end. I have been Nessa. You have been awesome. Take care. Bye.